Hi there, my name is Rob Lewis, and I own the wine vineyard here in Lake Mills, Wisconsin. I appreciate all of you coming tonight and visiting us here at the wine shop. Just to give you some information about the wine vineyard here, we are at 103 North Main Street, but we have roughly 200 different wines out on the wine floor. We have whites and reds and wines from virtually every region in the world, certainly including Wisconsin. So we have probably 7 or 8 different Wisconsin wineries here. We have wines that start around $7 and wines that go up to about $60, but the average price of wine here would be about $15 or so. I like to think that we kind of specialize in finding those diamonds in the rough, finding those $15 bottles that taste like they should be $30 bottles of wine. And hopefully tonight when we get to sampling one of the wines that hopefully those of you who would like to sample wine, I will certainly pour some wine for you to have. But I thought with that said about the wine shop right now, the room that we're in, this is the tasting room, which is actually part of the wine shop. And back here we do special events similar to the business meeting that you have tonight. But then we do anniversaries, birthday parties, and then we also have a wine school that meets here once a week. So we kind of do a lot of fun, different activities back in this room because it is kind of a beautiful setting to sit, and perfect lighting for some cheese, crackers, and a nice glass of wine. So, any questions so far? Okay. We'll do like a basic wine 101 education, and then if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask those questions, and hopefully I'll have the answer for you. If not, I'll just sound really convincing, and hopefully I will make that work. Really, there are 2 different kind of classifications of wine. Typically, there's white and there's red. Now, what I want to point out is I grabbed a couple bottles to show you. For example, this white is a Vino Verde. If you were to hold this, pour this wine next to a glass of water, it would look exactly the same. So it's a very crystal clear wine. This Vino Verde comes from Portugal. It is a light sparkling wine, so if you like a little sparkling wine, this is a natural sparkling style wine, kind of acidic like a Pinot Grigio, if you will. Also classified as a white wine would be the Chardonnay. Now this is from Wollersheim, which is right here in Wisconsin. Wollersheim, or I'm sorry, the Chardonnay, this Chardonnay is actually aged in an oak barrel. In fact, you probably can't see the barrel here, but we actually have a Wollersheim oak barrel that the Chardonnay is aged in, which causes the white wine to become more creamy. So a lot of people associate Chardonnay with like a buttery, creamy texture style wine, and that would be a Chardonnay that's been aged in oak. So just wanted to show you the different colors of what's considered a classification of white wine. Now, a classification of red wine, which is the other, could be as light as a rosé. So a lot of people are familiar with rosés. That's classified as white. Essentially, the rosé is a red grape, but once they start to press in fermentation, they use just a little bit of the grape skin, so there's a little bit of contact when they press, which gives it a little bit color. That's where the red comes from. It comes from the red grape. So one thing to always know is that white wines always come from white grapes. Red wines always come from red grapes. And the difference, again, is rosé, meaning there's just slight skin connection or color. And then, of course, reds can go as deep and as dark as what we have here is a Cabernet from California. Actually, it's a little deceiving because this is actually a black bottle, so you really can't see the color of wine. But I can tell you if we were to pour it, it would look very similar to this. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the classification of the red and the whites. Here, since we've opened the wine shop, what we've noticed is that people really don't know how to sample wine. Now, I know that sounds kind of funny that you don't know how to sample wine, because most people, you'll pour them a glass and they'll just take a drink. and they'll judge it really quick. It's either sweet or salty or sour or bitter, or it's delicious, or it's, you know, you can kind of fill in the blank there. But really, the winemaker, they really concentrate their time on really the smell of the wine, because that's really where the sensation of wine comes from. So that's where the winemaker and all the nuances of wine really come from, the bouquet or the nose of the wine. Okay, so again, there are 4 steps. The first step, we've kind of talked about the color. The second step is actually the body of wine. Now, it's actually the center of your tongue when you take a drink that actually determines, that you can tell what the body of the style of the body of the wine is. It's either going to be light, medium, or heavy-bodied wine. So if you think about, let's say, milk. You know, you've got 2%, you've got skim milk, you have 2%, you have whole milk. If you were to lay all 3 out and close your eyes and try it, you'd probably be able to tell the difference between all 3. Okay? Not necessarily by just taste, but also by just the weight, because that's something that your tongue does. It determines the weight. Okay? So the same is true with wine. The third step, which is the most often skipped step, but it's probably one of the most important steps, and that's actually the nose of the wine. And that is, when we pour the glass, who's going to sample wine? Let's go ahead and pour some glasses for you guys to sample. I see a couple turned up glasses here. Let's let you try. Okay, that's a little too much for you. Well, you don't have to drink at all if you don't want to. Oh, would you like one, Carl? Yeah. Okay. Sarah, would you like to try some too? Ma'am, would you like to try? No? I'll pour enough in his, so if you want to sample his, you can. I suppose somebody needs to be the designated driver.